And also when I teach kids, I feel like I'm making like a really big difference in the world because it's so good for them. And they're gonna grow up to be hopefully better people because they learned guitar at a young age.
Welcome everyone to the Augustine Strings Wind Up, second season. If you didn't subscribe to the YouTube channel, that's your chance. Click the subscribe button on YouTube, Augustine Strings. Follow Augustine Strings on Instagram and stay in the loop for the next episodes of the Augustine Strings Wind Up. Today we have here with us Hannah Murphy. Hannah is a teacher, performer,
Guitarist.
Instagrammer
Yeah.
here in New York City, and it's a pleasure for me to talk to you. I'll tell you why in a sec. But just before we start, I want to tell you and our friends watching this video, how does this interview work? For each string that you switch, there will be a question, different topic. For the first string, E string, is just an entree. We're gonna talk about a topic that I prepared. The second string, B string, beginnings. Third string, G, guitar, the guitar you brought today.
Okay.
Fourth string, dreams, D. Fifth string, used to be AI questions, but now it's audience questions.
Okay.
You made a post asking people to ask you questions, and we also made a post. So we have a couple of questions to ask you. And then the sixth string, my name is Edu with an E. I can ask whatever I want. Today, Hannah will be using, not today, you always use this one.
Always, yeah.
Paragon Red. Is there a reason why you love Paragon Red?
I don't know. When they first came out, I was excited to try them. And before that, I was using nylon strings. And I just really like the sound of the carbon on my guitar specifically.
First string. This, not disclaimer, I don't know if that's the word. When I first moved to New York in 2021, you were one of the first people that I hung out with.
Yeah.
And that was very important for me. And to Gabriele Leite, who was also featured here in the Wind Up. We didn't know people here, and I remember we went out with you, and it was so good for us to felt that we knew someone in New York that was so nice and
That was so fun, yeah.
And that brings me to my first question, which is, you're huge on Instagram, and we knew you from Brazil because of your Instagram. So we're meeting, let's go.
That's so cool.
How is it for you to build this huge community, classical guitar community, from people all around the world, from your place?
I think it's really cool because I get to meet really interesting people like you and Gabby. That was really fun. I obviously knew you guys from Instagram too, which is it goes both ways. I get to meet people that are doing the same thing, and we get to connect that way. And I've met people in other places. When I've overseas, I've met people that follow me on Instagram. I've met people sometimes that just have seen me in the city, and actually someone from Brazil once that just saw me in the city, and I just got to talk to them about guitar for a little bit.
You were like, wait, you're the girl from Instagram?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Which is just nice. It's a nice way to connect with people. Everybody loves music, and guitar is so specific that when you see somebody or meet somebody that does the same thing, it's just very exciting, I think.
Oh, can you actually explain what's going to happen here, because this is new.
This is new.
The process.
Nobody's done this on this podcast.
Dan Lippel burns the ends.
Okay.
This is the first time this happened in this.
Oh, nobody else has done this. No. Interesting. Okay.
So
surprised.
This is a special one already.
I don't think it's that uncommon to do that. Should I just get going here? It's like a manufactured ball end of the string.
You've probably seen people with 12-hole bridges before, but this bridge has 12 holes instead of 6. And my luthier, when I got this guitar, recommended that I tie the end in a knot.
Oh.
And then I use pliers. You'll see me, I use pliers to make it tight. He made it really tight by putting it through and then pulling it, but I felt like it scared me to pull the bridge that hard. I don't know why. I think it's probably fine because the luthier is doing it. And then I cut it with little string cutters. There's pieces of string everywhere when I change my strings. And then, so that the way that to keep it from slipping through the knot that I created, is I take a lighter and I just burn the end of it, so it's more like a bubble at the end and it doesn't slip through.
I see.
So
Wow,
you have to be really careful because the guitar is wood.
Burn the guitar.
There it is, and it's just
oh,
just
that's
for like
it.
a second,
It's just
like one little second,
Oh,
and then it kind of like forms like a
little
bubble, and then it's safe in the guitar.
Good. Now back to the question I asked, and I wanted to ask this for the beginnings too, but like tying this first question to the beginnings. When did you start the page, and why did you start it? Did you have the intention of becoming like a...
Yeah, I didn't really have, I don't know why. I just did one video one time. I don't really even know why. I wasn't seeing other classical guitarists post, but I saw like some of my friends from university posting like jazz and rock videos, and I posted something that I did, and there was like an account that, this was a while ago, because it was maybe like 2015. So it was like almost 10 years ago. This is crazy. And there was like some accounts that would repost people's things. So I think I made a second video and I tagged them, and they reposted it, and they had a lot of followers, and it kind of blew up immediately from that. And then it just kept like, it was like a snowball effect, because when that account reposted it and then I got a lot of followers from it, it was just like, just kept going. And then I got reposted by other accounts. I don't think that's really like the landscape of Instagram so much now. There's an algorithm.
Oh, yeah, with the algorithm.
There's an algorithm, it's a whole different thing.
It used to be in order, right?
Discover page. It used to be in
Like
order, yeah.
Chronological order of posts.
Exactly. So at that time, because there weren't other classical guitarists on Instagram, it kind of worked that way for me. And then have to like kind of navigate the changes of what the algorithm does now. But at that time when I first started, that's how it kind of worked.
Moving to the second string, the beginnings, how did classical guitar specifically came to your life? Did you start learning the guitar with a classical training, or did you start pop? Was it your idea or your parents' idea?
I guess it was mostly my idea. I started playing guitar because I wanted to do music, and in my like elementary school they had, here in America, most people might be familiar with this, but we have like band class and orchestra class, and I really wanted to do that, but they would have to take you out of like math class once a week to go to band class, and I was really bad at math, and my parents were like, no, but you can't leave math class once a week, you need help in math. And they said, but you can, if you want to take any instrument you want outside of school, we'll get you lessons. And I picked guitar because my uncle played guitar, and he lent me like a half-size classical guitar, and I took lessons outside of school. And because I was like a kid, I think I was in like 5th grade or 6th grade, I didn't really have like specific music that I liked or bands I liked yet. So the teacher played classical and jazz, and I was there with a classical guitar, and he's like, do you want to play classical? And I was, sure. And I just really loved it, and I stuck with it, and I wanted to do like as much as I could in high school. In high school, I was a real nerd about it. I took all the music classes I can, and I didn't take lunch. Instead of lunch, I took like music theory or something. So I'd skip lunch and have music. I had like special permission to do that from the school. But I just really loved just the music classes at school and bringing my guitar to school. And I joined the orchestra when I was in high school. I took viola. So I was just trying to get like as involved in music as I could at that point. And
then you finished high school, and you started Menace, right?
I finished high school, and I did my undergraduate at Rowan University.
Oh, you did master's at Menace.
Yeah, so my master's at Menace. So I did my undergrad there. I started there as music education. I really wanted to be like a music teacher at like school, because when I was in high school, I had guitar class, and I loved guitar class. That was obviously the best class of the day, and I could see myself like being the guitar teacher. But when I got to the music education program at college, there was no like guitar education. It's, chorus and band, and I was like not really just didn't feel like that was what I wanted. And there's not a lot of schools that even have guitar programs, so I was thinking it probably will be hard for me to even find a position. So I switched to music performance, and finding my own way to teach guitar now, just teaching outside of like the public school and kind of teaching my own private students, and also just like after school programs for guitar specifically.
And then you moved to New York and you started Manus. After your master's at Manus, like the New York scene, guitar scene, you were always part of it, the Long Island Guitar Festival, the Manus Seminar.
Yeah.
Like like moving to New York, it probably shifted everything.
Yeah, because I was, it was a big move to go from New Jersey. It was like South Jersey, like a college campus. And then I wanted to do school in New York because I felt like it kind of opened up music. There's a lot of music going on in New York, obviously. Everybody knows that. And it gave you a lot of opportunities to, there's, like you said, like a bunch of guitar societies just in the New York area. There's a lot of students that I could take on. There was a lot of people. There's a lot of conservatories, so a lot of people I got to meet that were in the same position as me, student and then everything. So it was a really nice opportunity. And I did a lot of house concerts, and that was something that was kind of unique to New York, I thought. I never had done that outside of New York. It was...
Was it through like group muse?
Yeah,
or, oh.
Yeah, it was group muse. I did a lot of group muse concerts.
Can you explain to
group
to
muse concerts? They're basically house concerts where somebody in New York can offer their home as a would you say, like a concert venue in a way. And it's kind of like a small, intimate concert. You might have like 20 to 30 people. They're in a living room and you play and people are sitting on couches and on the floor and you get to really interact with everybody, and it's just super fun.
It's so nice. And also like to play for other audiences. I feel sometimes we as classical guitarists
that's true.
Constantly playing for other classical guitarists.
You're showing other people the instrument that haven't heard of it before even.
G-string guitar.
Talking
about the guitar you have today. Who built this guitar? Since when do you have it?
This guitar was built by David Pace. He's in Baltimore, Maryland. And I got it in 2014.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a while, actually. And I love this guitar so much. It's actually a double top. So it's two pieces of wood, and obviously the top is cedar. You can see the dark wood, and the bottom is spruce. So I think it has a little bit of like the best of both worlds. It's got a really warm cedar sound, but like very much clarity from the spruce.
Cool. Is it your first like luthier guitar that you had? Yeah,
the guitar I had before this, I had an Esteve.
I don't know what it is.
They're kind of like, it's a kind of popular brand, I think. I know some others of my students have them and stuff. So, but yeah, this was my first like handmade luthier guitar.
And your teaching career is big here in New York, and you have many students, right? I don't know from what levels and what ages do you teach, to what level. But for example, if a student is looking for a new guitar, how much do you recommend, like for a younger student, to get a luthier guitar made by someone? Or
I highly recommend it. But the students that I teach, mostly they've been playing guitar from a really young age. I teach students that start at like 3 years old. So they've been trained to take care of a guitar from a very young age.
If they have
So I can see why it's you have to be very careful with the guitar. And I have students that now as like teenagers have a luthier guitar, and it's great for them because I think everyone should get the guitar that's like the best one that they can. So I recommend it, but they have to take care of it. And I think that's part of it. It's a nice thing for a student to also have to take care of it. There's something about the responsibility of taking care of a
Even
guitar.
for us.
Yeah, I know, it is. You have to change the strings, to be careful. You have to, make sure it doesn't get scratches, wipe the dust off so it doesn't, there's a lot that goes into it. So it's good learning experience for a student also, I think.
And the places you're teaching now at the Brooklyn Conservatory, you told me last year you were teaching at a university, college, I don't know.
Yeah, I taught for a semester. I was teaching at the college that I did my undergraduate at.
Oh.
So that was fun to be back there teaching in the same studio that I took my lessons in as an undergrad.
And in terms of teaching, which one do you prefer teaching? Ooh, tough question.
It's a tough question.
Do you because you're very good and you do a great job with initiating kids on the guitar, which is very hard.
Yeah.
But having the experience of teaching college level, which one you think you prefer?
I think I like both. I like that I can do both because you don't get like burned out on one thing. I can like kind of do different things. It's just like it's so different that like it's nice to do both. It's nice to talk to somebody like that's really serious about it and wants to get better and have music as their career and kind of guide them in that. But then I like teaching kids because they're spontaneous. You never know what's going to happen. They ask like a million questions and you have to really think like, wow, that's a good question. And also when I teach kids, I feel like I'm making like a really big difference in the world because it's so good for them. And they're going to grow up to be hopefully better people because they learned guitar at a young age. So there's like, it's like both. I like teaching both.
Okay, 4-string dreams. I wanted to know on these 3 aspects of your life as a performer, as a teacher, and your Instagram page. Where do you see, let's start with the Instagram page. Where do you see the page going in the future? And how do you see this getting bigger in the world and like creating a bigger and nicer guitar community where people exchange about guitar?
Yeah. Connecting more with people, like the way we connected, just being on. And I think now in this year, like I've seen so many more guitarists on Instagram, so it's easier to connect with somebody, to say, like, I'm in town, do you want to meet or go to somebody's concert that's in town and meet them afterwards? That's one way to do it. And I think because we're getting higher quality like recording equipment and everything available to us, everybody can do the best that they can. Like I think even our phones today are creating really good content for like Instagram videos and things, and everybody has a phone.
And how do you choose a repertoire normally from people asking you, can you play this piece?
No, not really. There's too many of them. There's too many like people suggestions. I usually just play things that I like. I think that's the main thing, and I would like to just play more and just keep building more recordings and just doing my own recordings, which is interesting. And I think it's a way to like share with people. And a lot of people ask me how I make recordings, what mics I use, and things like that, which gets to be interesting to talk about and like can be helpful. And it gives me ideas, seeing like if I say I use a certain mic and they say, oh, I use this one, it was different, like maybe I'll try it. Cool.
And about your teaching career, where do you want to be in like 5-10 years? I know you told me you want to build your own studio.
Yeah, I'd like to build my own studio, have my own students. Right now I like to teach at some schools just because it's a little bit more organized. Like the students come in, there's an administration that helps them, and that's something I would have to really work on if I was having my own studio, is to organize everything myself, organize like recitals and things. But I'd like to get there sometime.
Do you make them record themselves?
I don't make them, but
so they can listen to their playing.
It's not a bad idea, and I do encourage all of my students to do that. I have some students that they will do like auditions and things, and they have to record themselves, and I watch their audition tapes and make sure that before they send them. So we have to talk about mics sometimes, like it's not just the playing, it's like, oh, this mic is having an issue. So it's involved.
5th string. I play a couple of easy pieces, but I would like to get deeper into it. Any suggestions on moving forward? That's good.
That's a good...
How to get from playing easy pieces to like...
That is a good question. This is maybe not the answer that they want to hear, but I think that I think you should play those easy pieces like the best that you can, not just play them.
I agree.
Add in is like as much as you can. Add in all the dynamics, all of the crescendos, and all of the like rubato that you can fit. It's okay. And then think about moving on. Like really do as much as you can. Are you record yourself and maybe compare it to professional recordings of that piece and see if it's where you want it to be.
I even do that nowadays. I don't know. I go back to pieces that when I started I considered them easy.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much to work on.
There's still so much to do, right?
Sound and dynamics, as you said, exploring the guitar.
Yeah, and you
I don't think there are easy pieces, to be honest.
There's no easy pieces. That's the thing, because I teach kids. We do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and they're playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star when they're 3 years old, and there's still things I can work on with them when they're teenagers. With that, there's just always something you can work on with the easiest songs.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what to work on, you can also ask somebody for advice. You can post it on Instagram.
Yeah.
See if anybody has advice. If you're open to criticism, ask a friend. It doesn't have to, if you don't have a teacher, ask somebody what they liked about it, and just find some more things. And then I think when you do that, you'll find pieces that are more difficult. It'll kind of naturally happen.
How do you approach putting set lists together for gigs of various lengths? Not recitals, gigs.
Ooh. That's always hard. It's hard to play gigs with set lists because you never know what's going to happen at a gig too. I played a gig like maybe a couple months ago, and it was really, really cold, and the set list that I had, like the pieces were way too hard for how freezing my hands were. I put like some like concert repertoire on there that was just like, oh, I'm never going to play this. And so you have to just have as much as you can. You can kind of like flip through. Being able to sight read, and
you arrange a lot too, right?
Not a little bit.
But you have some arrangements.
Yeah, some arrangements. Just having things that you can just pull out and be able to play. Like I'll play a lot of student pieces that my students are playing. Maybe I don't practice it all the time, but I have heard my students play it a bunch of times, so I can kind of get through it in the gig too. I think that's a good way to do it. And yeah, gigs are hard because you never know who's going to be there, what's the setup's going to be like. Really, like, you kind of know, but not really. Concerts are like that too, I guess. But gigs, because they go on for longer, can be difficult. And I usually am not afraid to like play the same pieces a couple times, like or do like a lot of repeats
throughout the same.
If it's something that
like
somebody
2 or 3
likes,
hours playing.
Yeah, if it's something like a nice piece like Spanish Romance, like do some extra repeats because people really like that one.
This one is actually because I'm very curious, and I wanted to know, what do you do other than playing the guitar?
Other than playing guitar.
If you do something else.
Is there something else that I do? Because I play, most of the time I'm playing guitar or I'm teaching guitar, so or recording or something. So some things I like to do, I guess I'm really interested in like cooking and baking, and like I try to eat like whole foods. Like this is kind of something recent for me the past like year. Like I really want to eat like whole foods. So like cooking, which ends up being like very time consuming, I've realized, because I just want to cook all my meals, and then I end up being like, this is taking forever to cook like 3 meals a day.
Could have been playing the guitar.
Could have been playing the guitar. But that's something that's kind of interesting to me, is just like health, going to the gym, things like that. And I have a dog. I really love animals. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, you can see like I always post about animals and anything about animals.
Wait, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Didn't you have like
yeah, I had little
I don't know, mouse rat. I don't know the difference
little
in English.
Rats. So I had a pet rat, so they're like a little rat. They were really cute. And rats are good pets because I was a student, so like I couldn't have like a dog or a cat, like you're living in like a student. And then now that I'm on my own, have a house and everything, not just like a tiny like a student apartment, I have a dog, which is super fun.
So what's coming next for you in the near future?
In the near future, I'd like to do some more videos, recordings. I really like recording and getting better at editing and picking pieces that I think will resonate with people. And I'd like to do some more arranging. I made an arrangement recently that I haven't put out yet, but because it's hard to put something out. You're always like, going over it again and again. And I'd like to do even more like arrangements. I think that's really fun to kind of just sit down and just listen to something a bunch of times and try to get it to work on the guitar, which is kind of difficult to get something that you hear not on a guitar originally, just put it on the guitar, which has really been interesting to me lately.
Hannah, thank you. I see you finish. Can you give us a 6 to first string? Beautiful. Can you play now? So,
Play something.
Sons de Carrilhões again. No, just kidding. Thank you everyone for watching one more episode of the Wind Up series. Make sure you follow Hannah on Instagram. Make sure you follow Augustine Strings on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the Augustine Strings YouTube channel and stay in the loop for the next episodes. Hannah, thank you so much.
Thank you, it was so fun.